Hello, Alain. I wanted to show you your 68030 motherboard. And we've got those new Austrian caps. And so this is version 1.0, version 42, added in the NBIC chip, as you can see there. That was successful. 8 megs of RAM, and we've should be able to get through the boot process here. I just wanted to show you everything was working. Set the system parameters so it should boot from a SCSI hard drive. And with any luck, we'll get to a login screen. The 68030s just kind of chug along. 68040 was about a 400% increase in speed and performance, according to a little letter from Steve Jobs. But, you know, this is the original NeXT Cube Motherboards. Fastest for the day. And I've got this one, it's actually booting up 2 hard drives. So we'll go ahead and log in and make sure everything's working well. There we go. And with any luck, we should be in business. Takes a little bit longer for it to load. I think RAM will help you quite a bit. 8 meg was the factory stock. I do sell RAM upgrades, everybody, fairly reasonable. And this is actually going to Luxembourg. So my first international sales, I think, in 30 years to Luxembourg. I probably have, sales in, I don't know, I want to say 50 to 60 countries at least. I should set up my world map again with the pins of all the places I've done business with, and I do appreciate all you global customers. And I know I've done business with probably about 30 in the last year as well. So I really appreciate all the international business. And let's see what I've got here to test. Any interesting games? How about Star Castle? We'll see if that one comes up. I've been tinkering around, opening up different stuff. And it looks like it's going to work. Yep, Star Castle's working. That's great. Let's try Astroloids. Fun stuff. So, Alain, I'll get her boxed up and ready to ship. Had this a green sticker on her, so I know we've tested it before, where I usually let it run for a little while. I just wanted to make sure, since I added that NBIC chip for you on this particular board. And yeah, it takes it a minute to load everything up, but it looks like everything's functioning well. So let's see if Astroloids comes up real quick. It's kind of fun seeing all these old arcade games that were ported over by some of the talented NeXT developers, and I hope to see more of the retro games ported over. It'd be fun to get all the old Nintendo games ported over. And if anybody out there has the skills to bring a joystick to the NeXT, it would be much appreciated. So, that being said, I think, let's see, it says it's buffering the sprites. The sprites are the little characters that appear in your video games. And with NeXT, it's kind of neat. We have a lot of the source code for these original games as well. So I've been tinkering with that, having a little bit of fun. As you can see, there comes the big Astroloids rocks. So this is kind of, you know, Asteroids, when it first came out, was very 2D. It was just kind of wireframe. And then NeXT was able to add in the graphics. So a lot of video games were actually developed on NeXT, like the first 3D gaming engine that still, believe it or not, in use today, was used to develop Doom. And John Carmack and Romero over there at ID Software, really nice fellas, said that they wouldn't have been able to do all this without having the NeXT developer tools to create the 3D gaming engine. So yet another part of the NeXT operating system that very few people know about. Now, even with the SCSI hard drives, you can see that with only 8 megs of RAM and a 68030 board, why the 68040 25 megahertz was a welcome addition. And you have to remember at the time that RAM was in the stratosphere. I should bring out the original ADB pricing book for NeXT hardware. You know, it lists a 330 meg hard drive upgrade, for example, for $3,000. To go to 660 meg was $5,000, and believe it or not, to go to 64 megs of RAM was $12,000 in 1989. So the factory boxes shipped with 8, and even when you're upgrading, I think 8 meg memory sticks back then were about 150 each. So to go, you know, even add 8 megs of memory was a significant investment. And, you know, as RAM prices always went, I think there was some overlap when the 4s came out. So it's been an interesting journey with RAM prices, let me tell you. Sometimes they would go up, and other times they would go down. So you could get caught in a RAM pricing trap, good or bad. And when you had, say, orders for, in some cases, you know, 70, 80, 100 workstations, and your RAM prices all of a sudden shot through the roof, you could take it in the shorts. You know, you'd have to go renegotiate. On the other hand, if they dropped, sometimes by the time the purchase orders would come through, you could make a little significant bump in the, you know, by buying the current RAM, you know. So there was kind of a risk-reward deal. Do you buy the RAM at the current price, or do you take a chance when it comes in? And now we're dealing with, what's kind of nice, there are actually companies that are making vintage RAM. And one of the ways that they're doing it is they're taking, for example, 16 meg chips, and they have a template. There we go. There's Asteroids. And they will create, from that 16 meg, 4 meg 2-pin SIMs. So if you buy memory out there and you see that they have 2 chips on them, what they've created is a 30-pin template, and sometimes it's even 72-pin RAM originally. So you can kind of see it's not bad for black and white graphics. It's 2-bit grayscale, and I have this going through my custom cable into a modern flat panel. So it splits at the motherboard. Then one end goes into the sound box. With NeXT, you always have to plug your keyboard into the sound box. And we have some talented guys like Brian Archer that have made a third-party sound card. I'm talking with them as well about making an alternative, say, PS2 or USB to NeXT non-ADB adapter, as the original NeXT keyboards and mice are getting hard to find. This one's actually an interesting foreign keyboard for NeXT. I haven't seen too many of these. At any rate, Elaine, I'm going to go ahead and call your motherboard good, and really appreciate your business and patience. I'll get those DHL tracking numbers to you, and have a great day.